Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I'm sitting here by myself. I'm not sure if Donovan or Walter will join me, but they were sent the link in case they want to come up. But nevertheless, it's just me right now. So, again, I want to welcome you all, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, X, to the other side of the conversation, where we on the Demetra K Show promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even because we are great people and we can always strive to do better. So I also like to say that you all that are watching are not just viewers, you are also family and participants because sometimes we do share the link so that you can come up and voice your opinion or ask a question or whatever it is that's on your mind. All I ask is that if I have not seen you on here before, please show me your face before I bring you up to the big screen. Also, please make sure that your commentary is pertinent to the conversation that we are having. So basically, if we're talking about cats and dogs, don't come on here talking about goldfish. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, today we're going to spend some time talking about that of Vice President Kamala Harris. She recently visited The View. Y'all know with Whoopi and Joy and all of them. I don't even know who else is on there. It's been a long time since I've really sat down and watched an episode of The View. But she went on there and she talked about, of course, it being election season 2024. She talked about her and Joe Biden's campaign and, certain things that they have done for the American people. And she also expressed some concerns about that of Trump potentially becoming president again. In fact, she said she is scared as heck of another Trump presidency. So I'm going to show you all a clip in just a minute, but I'm going to give everybody a chance just to come on here before we get started. Because y'all know people like to say, what are we talking about? So I just want to give everybody an opportunity to do that, or as many people as possible. So who's on here? DSB, how you doing? Yes, that is what I've been seeing as far as a commentary on Kamala Harris and visiting The View is fear-mongering, right? Fear-mongering in regards to Trump. If Trump comes back into office, what that presidency would look like. Of course, we know that Trump was president in 2020. And so they like to try to talk about some of the things that he did and did not do while he was president. And so who else is on here? Mike, nice. How are you doing? Quincy, how are you today? Black America, are you scared too? You don't strike me as one to be scared. I don't know why. Hey, Thunder, how you doing? Shaniqua, what's going on with you, beautiful? And the real China Doll, how are you? And the Steven, what's going on with you? Roots Tracker, how are you? Long time no see. I hope all is well. Yes, indeed. And Judith, you say laugh out loud. Angie, how you doing? Ishmael, I hope all is well. Thank you. And I like you being here. And Andre, how are you doing? And Mr. Pan, long time no see. I'm just kidding. I see you every day, and I'm glad that you were here. And Ray Vaughn, what's going on with you? Say she better be ready for it. Yeah, sounds like Kamala, might need to, finish biting her fingernails off or whatever she's going to do. While she's afraid, because it's a real possibility that Trump may take office again. He's doing well, and a lot of polls are saying that if Trump and Biden or the election were to happen today, that Trump would win, right? We saw what he did there in Iowa with the caucus, the Republican caucus. I mean, it wasn't even close. And with regards to what he did to them being as Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, which sounds like he came out and he endorsed Trump after, they be on a campaign trail talking stuff about each other. So sounds like he's giving it a full conversation. Walter, are you ready to be added to the screen? I can't see you. It's kind of dark. So let me know if you're ready. Okay, there you go. So Walter has joined us. I'm not sure if Donovan will, but if he does, he'll come on here. So yeah, there's a lot going on. But yeah, so of course the Democrats are afraid because Trump is, he's doing a bang up job, especially facing 91 counts. Sounds like most of them are felonies. And they're trying to, put him in jail or something. And one of those charges is in regards to the insurrection and trying to cheat in Georgia, rigging the election results and all of that. So I'm going to show y'all a clip in just a minute. Who else came on here? Before I get started, Brother Terry, how you doing? And April's Jules, how you doing? Says I'm nervous about Trump too, but anything is better than the Dems. See, and a lot of people really feel that way. And Roots Tracker, he says all is good. Wish all is well with you also. Yep, no complaints. Thunder says they are scared that he could possibly use the Justice Department as a weapon, just like they did to him. And yeah, that was one of the concerns that Kamala had. But I mean, aren't they kind of using the justice system? I don't know. And let's see. And Ruchi says just another tactic they're trying. That's not going to work. Michael says, "Are you replying to somebody?" And Miss B, how you doing? And Brother Samuel, how are you? He says, winning without debate. Yeah, he's just having town halls, right? He's like, I don't need to waste my time having no debates with y'all. I'm the king up in here, right? He's like leading. What does he need to talk about? It's really his campaign or race to lose, as far, especially on the side of the Republicans, so it pretty much looks like he's got it. Everybody saying hello to Walter and Angie. He says, Mr. Swampy is definitely a butt kisser. He won't be VP. So Ramaswamy, I don't know. He might be because Trump is allegedly a billionaire. Ramaswamy is a billionaire. So maybe they'll get in there and be billionaires in the White House together. I don't know. Anything's possible, right? And Ruchi says she's scared to lose. Yep. And Miss B says already hit the like button. Yes, if y'all could. I'd love it. Appreciate you. Ambitious Hustler, how you doing? He says, where you at? I've been here. Where you been? Marcella, how you doing? Brother Don, how are you? And Quincy says Trump didn't do anything to harm Black Americans. Right. Yeah, I don't ever want to have that conversation. And Norris, how are you this fine evening? Well, thank you so much for that. And Thunder says 91 counts. Oh my God, they must really be scared of this man. They are mafia bosses that haven't had many charges levied against them. Right. So that goes to show you what's really going on here. So Walter, what's on your mind before I show this video?
No, show the video so I can have something on my mind.
Okay.
I want to know what's on my mind. Actually, I watched the caucuses and I knew Ramaswamy was coming up. When Trump was talking, I already knew he was about to come up. That's a good look. That's a strong team. I don't know why people hate him. Vivek, dude came over here and built a business out of nothing. I mean, like, I don't know why people hating on the cat. I haven't heard him say too many things that I don't agree with, but
of course, we're going to get into it. Walter is, on a lot of different sides of things, but has a lot of great insight nevertheless. Because we're going to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy. I have studied him just a little bit. So anyway, and how you doing, Damon and HDLC? What's going on with you? All right. So as I said, Vice President Kamala Harris, she is starting to make the rounds. She went on The View, which a lot of presidential candidates, they go on The View or whatever, and they, give their spiel. So Kamala, being a vice president, a first woman vice president of the United States, she goes on The View and sits down with the ladies, and they talk about various things. She talked about women's rights in regards to reproduction and, abortion, those type of things. She talked about Second Amendment rights, the student loan debt that her and Biden are working very hard to get rid of. Depends on who you ask, right? Talk about the economy and how inflation is coming down and different things that they have done to help stimulate the economy. Also talked about prescription drugs for seniors becoming more affordable. Also talked about, and I'm going to show y'all what she said in regards to Trump. But she also said that, her and Biden need to earn re-election. They need to really get out there and get the message out there about what they are doing for the American people. And then I think it was somebody asked her, you guys are really struggling to beat an unfit man. And why is that? And then, of course, she says, because he's weaponizing the DOJ and, he wants to be a dictator and all those things that he said. But she really didn't say much about it. But I'm going to show you guys a clip in regards to her saying she's scared as heck about a Trump presidency. So here we go.
Scared, first of all, what could happen if Trump ever became, God forbid, president again? And what are you going to do to stop the crazies?
I am scared as heck.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm traveling our country. There's an old saying that there are only two ways to run for office, either without an opponent or scared. So on all of those points, yes, we should all be scared.
Yeah.
But as we know, and certainly this is a table of very powerful women, we don't run away from something when we're scared. We fight back against it.
So, of course, that was a steal. I made it that way in case they had an issue with me showing the clip. But y'all heard what she said. Nevertheless, she said she is scared as heck. I guess, a cousin is above her. of another Trump presidency, um, for a whole host of reasons. But the other thing is, she said too, we have to earn the vote. Well, especially if you're speaking about Black America, they haven't earned the vote of Black people, and they don't really even give Black people a conversation anymore, because that's who they really need in order to get back in office. They need Black people. But we talk about this a lot, and we're going to continue to talk about this. We see them helping everybody but Black people. And so again, it's not just Black people who feel disenfranchised by the Biden administration. Again, they talk about student loans, but he's been in office almost 4 years, and before he even got in office, talking about he was going to forgive it or do this amount. But it's kind of slow here and there to do it. For what I understand, student loan debt is the number one highest debt held by Americans, right? But yet we've seen trillions of dollars go everywhere else. That happens to be the taxpayers' money to help everybody else. But then, you got people with student loans, and they said not too long ago, 9 million Americans defaulted on the student loans. They're like, I ain't paying it, I ain't got it, whatever. And so what they've done is they said, okay, well, we're gonna give you another opportunity. It's not gonna go against you or what have you. So the Biden administration, while they might talk about things here or there, nobody is really, feeling the effects of the good effects, if you will, of a Biden administration. She also talked about how they're concerned about people being able to put food on the table and this, that, and the others. Like, are you really concerned about Americans being put food on the table, or are you only concerned about migrants being able to put food on the table? Because we know, especially with the migrants in democratically ran cities, they're getting food, they're getting housing, and driver's licenses, and a whole host of stuff that the a regular.
Yeah, they're staying in the Roosevelt Hotel in New York, for God's sake. Like, come on. Like, the Democrats, and I know why this has played to Black people so well, because Black people seems like maybe up until now have been scared about everything. Jesus gonna send you to hell. The white man are coming. When I listen to Kamala and the Democrats talk, all they talk about, and it's funny, the narrative is the same. Obama, both of them, who just signed a $1 zillion deal with Netflix. I don't know what the hell they scared of. All these guys they're talking, they're going back to the Black narrative. Oh, you Negroes better be scared. What are you afraid of? Like, under Trump, we had one of the strongest economies, tax cuts, blah, 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 blah. And how do you earn something you already have? They lost it. That's the problem. And where in the hell is Joe Biden? Has anyone seen this dude? See, they don't want him to debate. They don't want him to have to go against Trump. Lord forbid, debate this dude. Can you imagine him and Donald Trump on stage? So yeah, when Black people, and it looks like we're starting to wake up some, we stop being scared, man, the Democrats would be doomed. And they need to stop letting all these migrants in. I watched a YouTube video where they bust them in at like 1 a.m. Like, New York had 11 buses show up at the same time. That means they have to deal with these buses, pay police officers, government officials, everybody to get these 11 buses and get them checked into what used to be a 5-star hotel in New York. That's madness to me. You want to help Black people? Like, reduce food costs. Like, some of these regulations. Like, you got these migrants walking in, and it's funny because now everybody's talking about the migrant. It ain't just the Republicans, Black people, Chicago, begging for Donald Trump to come down. I saw this Black girl on TikTok wear Joe Biden out. Like, nigga, you ain't shit. Blah, blah. We don't want that, but of course, that's what some of the right-wing media is saying. Even the ghetto sisters coming out for Trump. So,
how you doing, John? He says, hi, Demetri. He says, what can we change as Black people? Whatever president gets elected, it's a problem for us and it's nothing good. Well, what we can change is start to doing for self. As we know, this goes back, over 100 years at this point. Marcus Garvey told us, up your mighty nation, accomplish what you will. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, no matter who is in the White House, whether it's a liberal or conservative, Black people still need to do for self. So we start doing that first. Now, that doesn't negate the reparations and stuff that they owe us. They're going to pay us that, right? But in the meantime, we still need to practice group economics, unify, right? Start doing for self. owning and operating our own businesses and, things like that. So that's what we should be doing no matter who is in the White House. And to your point, there's been a copious amount of people in the White House, Republican, Democrat. I think maybe in history, maybe there's been only one independent. I could be wrong. But regardless who's been in the White House, they have not done anything to help Black people move the ball forward. In fact, some would argue that they've actually helped us move it backwards. Lyndon B. Johnson, he did, civil rights. And of course, Roosevelt did the New Deal, which included Black people. But it helped us in small ways, but especially with the civil rights movement, where segregation ended, it helped to completely dilapidate our communities. And we went to be with everybody else, left our stuff behind. And Black people have not seen that type of unity since. So that's something that needs to come from us. No president, no politician, no one else besides us are going to get us to where we need to be as a group. Jen Jones, how you doing? Says scared. Seems like that's the general Democrat consensus of late. Yeah, it's fear mongering. It's we need to be afraid, right? It's like, for what? Kamala and Joe Biden, they're on the same level as Trump. So what are you afraid of? What they're really saying is we're afraid that the people we need to come vote for us are not going to show up to vote for us, and that they might actually like Trump, opposed to us, and then we're going to be out of a job, right? We're going to be out of power. That's what they're really afraid of, because Trump can't really do anything to Kamala or Biden. He's not taking no food out of their mouth by any policy that he would legislate if he's in the White House. So that's really more fear mongering to everybody else. Hey, y'all need to get out there, because if y'all don't, then the boogeyman, the orange boogeyman, he gonna go back into the White House, But as I always say, what is Trump doing or have done that Joe Biden has not already done to Black people? Don't need, how you doing? Is that don't need a man, or did you change your name? How you doing? Miss Sweet Talks, how you doing? And let's see here. I'm gonna skip down so I can catch up. Stephen, how you doing? Says, haha, I'm not scared. However, them should be scared, because they don't do nothing for the Black community. And that's exactly what it is. And Dimple Face, how you doing? She said, you said she's scared of losing her job. There you go. Curtis, how are you? Says Carmela, wow, is scared because she's going to have to face all the innocent Black men who she put in jail when she was a prosecutor. I don't think she'll have to face them. She'll never be in the same circle. She'll have Secret Service, whatever protection the rest of her life. So she'll never be in the same realm. But maybe it keeps her up at night that she did that. I doubt it. And Damien says, hell to the no. He says, the view from my angle looks like ish when looking at the Dixiecrats. Hawk, how you doing? Says, exactly. There are no commercials with an all Black American family. Yeah, I don't watch very much TV, but when I do, it's like, yeah, everybody's kind of mixed up and, that kind of stuff. So I guess, that's that DEI in action, if you will. Michelle, if I didn't already, how you doing? Says, Black women are the ones who really need to wake up. They are too busy twerking and making fools of themselves on social media. Not all, but some, the ones on social media, but not all. But I get what you're saying. Thunder says, fear-monger, she is a fear of what specifically? No more innuendo, speak plain and clearly. I refuse to put words in someone else's mouth. Please say in no uncertain terms what you're afraid of. They never will. That's like when Obama said, hope and change, hope and change. As Ann Coulter called him to the carpet, she called everybody else to the carpet. What did he never define what hope and change was? And nobody ever asked him to do it. Everybody ran around, oh, it's hope and change. Oh, there's a change you can believe in. But if you ever ask somebody, well, what does that mean? I don't know. I said it because Obama and them was saying it. So it's the same thing. What do you mean, Kamala? Fear mongering? You're afraid of what? You're scared of what exactly? And as I say, what did Trump do that Biden hasn't done, especially the Black people? And let's see, everybody saying good evening to Walter. And let's see, Ms. B says, all I want to say is that they don't really care about us, Michael Jackson. I'm just saying. And April says, yeah, this issue is out of hand with the migrants in New York. They're giving them everything. They have cars and scooters. And I heard they be scratching off a lot of lotto tickets too. And Soulfully Sowing Seeds, how you doing? Says, we're actually various shades of brown skin tone. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the chat. Trish, how you doing? Saying hello to me and Walter. Thunder says, I'm almost tempted to buy a MAGA hat and wear it at work and around the vote blue, no matter who crowd. Hey, check in with us every day. I would hate for something to happen to you. We want to make sure you make it out alive.
But why? The funny part is, in Black people, we need to ask ourselves this: why should she be worried about wearing the mega hat? Now think about this for a
There's a
second.
guy.
Or a guy. Oh, even worse. Like, why would a guy have to be? And we need to check ourselves on this, because it's funny. I took a picture with my father, not my father-in-law. I don't know how you say that. My son's wife's dad had on the I don't know who you call him.
Son's wife. That's so your son's father-in-law.
Yes, my son's father-in-law had on a mega hat. I took a picture and I put it on Facebook. We were just having a glass of wine. And he had a mega hat on, and man, the messages I got from Black people. Oh, be careful! How could you? I was like, fool! I was looking for my hat. I wish they had it in black. I don't like red hats, but I would rock. Maybe not Make America Great Again, but something like that. Like, America is falling. Like, him wearing that hat 4 or 5 years ago, okay. But today, that hat makes sense, because America is not the same. I went to Whole Foods to buy food, and I looked at the meat guy, and he's like, yep, they're going up again. And I go, like, when is this going to end? He goes, you know what? We don't even know. And he goes, we see people do what you just did. Look at the meat thing and go look at the fish. You know, I'm thinking about becoming plant-based. So, anyways, hey, we Black people, we should be able to do what we want to do. And we shouldn't be in fear of physical harm because we want to voice our opinion. Black people, do you realize that is what's been done to us for decades and centuries? Not being able to, stress our opinion. Now, Black people, we need to worry about other Black people, because if I had a mega head on, I'm not worried about white folks walking up on me. I'm worried about Black people running up on me, like physical harm, like really put myself in a position of physical danger, me wearing a mega hat in a Black neighborhood, which is ironic, because if Donald Trump was here, the migrants wouldn't be at your doorstep, and you wouldn't be, because you know what the migrants are going to come from next? They're going to come for low-income housing. And before you know it, they're going to be everywhere. These Democrats are going to do whatever it takes to stay in office, especially now Black people are saying, oh, hell to the no, we're not going to just blue no matter who. Man, there's a migrant coming to you. Migrants are coming near you. How does that work? Migrants coming to a neighborhood near you. Watch.
Absolutely. Let me see here. I saw a comment I want to go back to. Let's see. Where did it go? Here it is. And Herschel, how you doing? It says, I keep hearing do for self, quote unquote. MLK said you can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps when you don't have boots. So I know I agree with you in regards to systemic and institutional racism. That is a thing, right? Let me finish. We're not going to ever negate that is a thing. Nobody else has done to them in this country like Black people do in every way, shape, and form. However, there are things that we can do to minimize the effect, because we talk about this all the time. It's talked about everywhere, especially if you follow Dr. Claude Anderson, the Nation of Islam, and a whole host of other people. Right now, they're saying we're seeing anywhere almost $2 trillion within the Black community every year, making up the 10th largest country economy-wise if we were to keep that money, but we give 97% of that away. So all of that, giving 97% away of all that money is not all of white supremacy's fault. There are some things that we can do. As I said this past Christmas season, I don't know how many people did it, but you could go to the mall and see a lot of us in there spending money, but then we'll turn around and say, well, we don't have no bootstraps. It's like, well, why you didn't buy them when you was at the mall? You know what I mean? Why did they? But we have bootstraps when it comes to giving all of that money away, buying stuff we don't need, buying what we want, begging for what we need. So we have bootstraps when it comes to that stuff. But when it comes to the stuff that matters, like buying lands, opening schools, and things like that, really getting together as a cabal, in politically speaking, we don't have the bootstraps. So there are some things that we can do. And I know that we need our reparations. I'm never going to say we don't. We do. But in the meantime, because I think reparations will come easier if we start practicing group economics and doing for self more, then they can get up off of our bootstraps because they won't have a choice. But the other thing, too, is as long as we continue to vote Democrat, as Dr. Claudence also says, we're the only group of people that votes as a group for oppression. As long as we keep doing that, they'll never get off the bootstraps because they don't have a reason to. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, we all got boots. Every black person on this chat has a pair of boots, and we got different color boots, UGG boots, Kanye boots. We all got boots. So, I mean, you know my take on it. We ain't gonna never get ahead by waiting on, because I mean, black people seriously, like, we keep reparations. Yeah, it's due. A lot of other races have got reparations, so it is due us. And not all slaves. Yeah, I know. And again, not all slaves get reparations, because every slavery has been happening since the beginning of time. Um, all over the world, we still got slaves in some areas. Matter of fact, it was the Arabs that kept African slaves 100 years after slavery ended, or some crazy number.
I mean, it's still going on in Libya, and the Arabs are at the helm of that, the full-fledged slavery, and that was due to the Obama administration taking out Muammar Gaddafi, under some false pretenses. And so there is full-fledged slavery in Libya as we speak right now, committed by the Arabs.
Yeah, and that's the Arabs if they're going to give Africans some reparations. So, but in the meantime, there's just things we could do. We as a people, I mean, like talking about reparations is like waiting for the great pumpkin. He ain't coming. Or it's like waiting for Lucy and hoping she's going to leave the football there. Like, that football is reparations and Lucy is the government. She going to move the football every time Charlie Brown and Linus, who goes to kick the ball? From the reparations is off the table. And you know how I know it's off the table? Because they smacking black people right in the face with these illegals. Because they giving them reparations and ain't shit happened to. Think about this for a second. What's it cost to stay in the Roosevelt in New York for a week? What's it cost to have somebody pick you up, drive you around? What's a bus ride cost from Texas to New York? Think about the money they're spending on these migrant or these illegals. Is it safe to say they're each getting $5,000, $10,000? Like, what's health insurance cost?
Some of them are getting, like, I think is it New York or Chicago, like $9,000 or something like that.
So they telling black people, not only are we not getting reparations, they're giving you the middle finger. And this is how cold Joe Biden and his crew is. Black people all over the United States are saying, get these illegals out of here. Donald Trump, please come take care of business. And where the hell is Joe Biden at? You think he would pop up and say, okay, Kamala Harris goes on The View. And by the way, it's in the best interest of all those women on The View that black people stay stupid and afraid. Because if black people really woke up with all the skills and things we could do, oh Lord, their jobs would be in jeopardy. You don't have black women sitting around watching The View, all those dumbass women talk about being scared and they going up and living in the hills somewhere. You can't even get to Whoopi's house without a security guard shooting you in the face. So what the hell are they afraid of? Like, seriously, what we need to do is we need to be afraid of not taking care of our business, owning a piece of land, saving some money. That's what we need to be afraid of. Because I can tell you, black people, and it ain't just us anymore, it's all people now. I saw a robot waitress.
Thank you.
Thanks for the money. Keep it coming, y'all. We need to, especially now, man, food prices are through the roof. So they have robot waitresses. One of my friends, she sent me a picture of a driverless. She was in a Waymo car, no driver. Somebody else sent me a link. I think D, I sent it to you, about the robot wife, the robot sex dolls, the AI, the robot wives that you come home and she's standing in the kitchen with curves and hair and they working on the skin to try and make it feel real. Man, I said, whew, Lord have mercy. Women, I tell you, you think you lonely now. Wait until tonight when the robots get here.
Yes, indeed. And Sanchez, how you doing? It's a sick thing how now black people think Trump is the great white hope. He won't do anything specifically for black people either. Black people about to replace one racist for another. Exactly. So, why continue to vote for Joe Biden? You know what I mean? Because we know the Republicans aren't that in love with black people either, but we don't vote for the Republicans like we do the Democrats. But at that same ideology, to say that Trump is a racist, but won't give a conversation to Biden being that, and then go right into the booth and vote for Biden. So, why vote for either one of them?
Yeah, and you guys, let's stop with this madness. Think about this for a second. And there's a lady, she was on TV. I saw her on the news. Black lady, really had on a black dress. She was in prison and now she's running for Congress. And she said, and they showed the video of Joe Biden sitting there decades ago signing the crime bill. Not only did he sign it, he was the one that created it. What did he say? I'm the one that created it, or I'm the one that. So you have a dude that created the crime bill that hurt Black men, a continuation of civil rights. And then you have a dude, and the lady said, I was in the picture, she was a picture in the one in the hat, and the African colors of orange. And she said, Kim Kardashian didn't get that lady out of jail, blah, blah, blah. And then she said, Donald Trump got that lady out of jail. Why does it take for him to redo and address the crime bill and the First Step Act? I mean, who put the First Step Act into force? Was that Biden?
That was Trump.
Yeah, it was Trump. So, what do you mean? Black men are the most incarcerated men in the United States. And it was all a plot through the civil rights movement. Get the man at the house, cut the money, get this Negro in jail so we can take control. Because when you have a strong Black man, can you imagine every time you leave your house, you see Black men in suits moving things, Black men, mechanics, and just Black men everywhere just moving the ball. So everywhere you go, Black dude, you go in the grocery store, Black dudes behind the counter, behind the checker. Some of y'all will go shop there. Black dudes everywhere. Can you imagine that? That's what they didn't want. So the First Step Act and some of the things that Donald Trump has done has helped Black people. And don't forget, Joe Brown, a lot of those cats, go watch some of their videos. Donald Trump gave those cats loans, Black men loans when banks wouldn't give them money. Donald Trump loaned them millions of dollars and didn't ask for it back. So some of y'all need to check your facts when we're talking about what has Donald Trump done for Black men. And Black people, don't forget, we used to love Donald Trump up until he ran for president and started talking about shutting down the border and these illegals. People were like, all of a sudden he's a bad dude because the liberal media told us he was bad. And what's not true, Black American?
I was watching some movie the other day. What movie was I watching? It was an old movie. Was it an old movie? Some show. And they were talking about Donald Trump is coming, And so when I think about that, and I saw that, I was like, yeah, Donald Trump really is a cultural pop. I don't know what it was. He was an icon in every walk of life. Everybody wanted to be like Trump, wanted to be around Trump, wanted to be at his hotels and casinos. And, I think all the copious amount of rap songs or lyrics that he's in and videos and Home Alone. I think one of those he was in there. So he is interwoven into American culture. But when you think about that, until he ran for president or before then, everybody loved him. I mean, even the politicians, a lot of the Democrats, and not all of them, have been at a wedding with him, a party, or something. The Clintons, they were good. They hung out. But then when he decided to throw his hat into the ring, then he became enemy number one. But I don't think people understand as far as Trump, because a lot of the other presidential candidates, whether Republican or the Democrat, they, keep on talking points. Okay, I'm supposed to go out there and say this. Okay, I'm supposed to do that. And for the most part, they do, right? But Trump was like, yeah, as I was saying. So they didn't like that, right? So he became, enemy number one. And I'm not saying all the stuff that he said was agreeable, but think about that, and I actually wrote my dissertation on how propaganda and rhetoric works. My theory is and was that it works on the ignorant, right? So you think about somebody like Donald Trump before he became or ran for president, he was good. Everybody loved him. Oh, it's the Donald, right? They call him the Donald. Everybody loved Trump. But then when he got in the race, I always say, I want to make a shirt called the Society of They, because who is this they, right? But they told us, and they put this out in the atmosphere, in the airwaves, and the media, and all that. Trump is bad. Trump is bad. Trump is bad. He's racist. He's evil. He's this. He's that. He's that. Then pretty soon, everybody started agreeing. Yeah, Trump is evil. Trump is the devil. But it's like, you didn't think that a year ago. You never would even dream of saying that, even though and when he took out that ad in New York about the Central Park 5 at the time, right? The Central Park 5, now that it's Central Park exonerated or whatever the case is. They, even back then, people still loved Donald Trump. You know, the rappers and Clinton and all of them, they still love Donald Trump. But now when he was president, then they started to bring, oh, you know, he's a racist because he tried to, you know, have the Central Park 5 get the death penalty. But it's like, as I say, people never talk about the prosecution being a Democrat or all the other powers that be, if you will, there in New York, trying to send those boys up the river. And they did, you know, send them up the river. Never talk about, I think it was the DA or somebody donating to Clinton's campaign. And I think even Hillary's campaign, they donated. But that never gets a conversation. It's always a conversation about Trump and the ad that he took out about the Central Park 5, but never the conversation about the people who actually had the power. Bringing that back to today, people talk more about Trump and the things that he said, but they don't talk about Biden and the things that he has done. So if we're supposed to be logical people, and I said this yesterday, we as Black people are very emotional. If we're logical people, then we would have to think about that. We're more mad at Trump because he said some pretty disgusting, incendiary things, but we're not more mad at Biden when he actually had the pen and has gone on to say a copious amount of times that he is the author of every major and minor crime bill since 1986. But yet, Trump is the boogeyman? How does that even make any sense? And again, I'm not, you know, advocating for Trump. I'm not telling you to vote for Trump. I'm not telling you not to vote for him. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm just saying, let's think about some of these things. Let's use some common sense. Jessica Jackson, how you doing? Otis, how are you doing? It says Trump on the couch seems far better than a good old Joe and Kamala. Who else came on here? Gigi, how you doing? That's Not Feelings, how are you? Thank you for showing up as you always do. And Sister Shirley, same to you. How are you doing this evening? Jay Bubba, how you doing? Who else came on here? Jesse says Black First Foundation of Black Americans. Denver, Colorado, hashtag Frontlines Black News. All right. And Miss Deborah says they be scared for losing their relevancy, not ours. And Brian, how you doing? He says, is it Michelle Obama said when they go low? I think she says when they go low, we go high. He says the immigrants are moving. I think that's what you're saying. Are moving. That's not. Oh, you got a lot of emojis and stuff I can't really put together like that. But welcome to the chat, nevertheless.
And you know what? I just sent it to you too. There's a good, but we won't really see this, not as a people, because for whatever reason, when we start talking about financials, we disappear. There's a good interview on CNBC with Robert Johnson from BET. Y'all remember him, Black people? He's going down the list of things of what Donald Trump has done for Black people. He talked about how unemployment went down for Black people. I mean, this is a cool video you could really watch. I mean, if you guys are really wanting to really get, open up and like look at this all around, start checking out some of the Black leaders that are saying, I'm not talking about like people that are just trying to, I'm talking about Black billionaires that are like, here's what he's doing for Black people. And Robert Johnson is a Democrat. So for him to come on CNBC and say Donald Trump is good for Black people and that just got swept way under the rug.
Yeah, and yeah, for logical thinker. Thank you for that. Yeah, let's in the chat, let's try to refrain from using as many negative words as possible because the algorithms do pick that up, and they catch us. So we need to be careful of the things that we say. Y'all know what we can and cannot say on these other people's platforms. So please and thank you. Let's see here. Our neighbor says, whatever happened to Trump's platinum plan for Black people? Demetria Walter, did we ever get that money? I know because it was contingent upon him becoming president again. So that's kind of was also in the same conversation with Ice Cube's contract with Black America. So that was contingent upon him being president again. Of course, we know that that did not happen. So that's a conversation that needs to continue to be had, since it looks like he is going to be the Republican candidate, right? We need to press Trump on a plan for Black America. And he, it was entertaining. He's actually, his administration is the one that did meet with Ice Cube. It was Biden's administration says, when we get in there, we'll have a conversation with you. And that conversation has never happened. So it remains to be seen. Let's see here. Black America, he says, they didn't love Trump. They loved his gangster. Okay. Yeah, that's that N word again. So, the moderators, if y'all own it, and I know that comment was made after I made my commentary. So yeah, y'all try to refrain from using that word. If you can't, not if you can, but please and thank you. And Trish, you said that's the problem, Mr. Mitra. We are not logical. So much emotions. I say this from my own personal experience. Yeah, we're emotional. And if you know how the appeal to emotions work, they do it every day in advertising. You watch a commercial. You weren't hungry before you saw the Burger King commercial, but they got the right song and the right visuals and all of that. And pretty soon you're like, I sure could go for a hamburger right now, even though you probably just had one an hour ago. That's how appeal to emotion work. We talked about this yesterday. In every sales transaction, there is an appeal to emotions, right? I've sold life insurance. Walter sold life insurance before. You don't go sit at the kitchen table and say, well, you need life insurance here, sign on the line. Because if you do that, most people are going to say, nah, I'm good. I don't think I need it. But if you say, imagine this. Somebody in your family passes away. Or you'll say, how many car washes do you think it'll take to have a funeral, to pay for a funeral? Well, I don't know. Why do you ask? Because that's what happens when most people die without a life insurance policy, or a loved one dies without a life insurance policy. They end up having to have a car wash or a bake sale, a fish fry, or something like that. So thinking about that, how many car washes do you think you need to have? God forbid one of your loved ones pass away. Well, I don't know. I didn't think about it that way. See, what did I do? I appeal to their emotions. So these campaigns and all this other stuff, they're designed to appeal to each group's emotions. And they know we as Black people, we tend to be a little bit on the emotional side. So we'll scare the hell out of them. Tell them if Trump comes back in the office, what did Biden tell us? You might end up in chains.
I would see.
Ain't you the one that ran around with, segregationists?
The funny part is, Joe, they have such disregard for Black people. He said that with a straight face. Y'all, first of all, think about this. Y'all gonna end up in chains. Like, who's y'all? First of all, you're the president of the United States.
You know who that y'all is.
I'm gonna explain to these Negroes because they understand that. Like, fool, the crime bill is what puts so many Black people in jail. Now, I know there's two sides of the coin, but man, there's like undisputed like information that Black men have been pulled over and harassed by the police, especially even if it's not as much now. In the 60s, as a Black man, you getting pulled over. And that stuff adds up. Like all the stories about the police officers planting drugs and all the brothers in jail for like drugs and coke, just plant stuff in the trunk. And I have friends in law enforcement, and they tell me the stories about back in the days. If they thought they had somebody, but they just needed a little more evidence, they would just plant something just to make sure it goes over the top. So Joe Biden, that's the cat. And I don't know why Black people won't just come together and wear this dude out. Like I'd take my chances with Donald Trump in office than Joe Biden. And they are scared as hell because this dude is gaining momentum. He is, I have never seen anyone win a caucus that bad. And the dude ain't even campaigning. He's not even on the stage. And he's winning by 50 plus points. So, I don't know. But I'm over the scared talk. These Democrats, they had their time.
No, absolutely. So y'all saying share the link. Walter sent it to me. I'm trying to figure out how to do just that. But let me see. The title of the article was BET founder, and this was in 2019, by the way. BET founder Robert Johnson on Trump aisle. I give the president credit for doing positive things. So CNBC, you could probably put in BET founder Robert Johnson on Trump, and that'll probably come up.
Yeah, it's a CNBC article. You'll find it. It actually. I googled Trump loans money to Black business owners because there's a video, and I have to find it, where one of the brothers, he lists down the whole list of Black men that Donald Trump loaned money to decades ago, and was like, "Don't worry about it." You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't know. I can't name anything that Joe Biden has done. Like the HBCU. Did you see that picture in Donald Trump's office when all those Black people were in there? They said that is the largest gathering in the Oval Office ever. All Black people there for Donald Trump. I think was it the HBCU thing that he signed?
Yeah, it was all the presidents, and then they, got mad afterwards because they said he didn't deliver something. I forget what it was that he said he would. Then they kind of was, talking stuff about him too. Yeah, I remember in Kelly, what's her name, Conway, was sitting on a couch without her shoes on, and just kind of kicked back. It's like, really? Average logical thinker says, did y'all see Nikki Haley say there is no racism in this country? Then turned around and said she faced racism as a child. She tired of them tired of them playing in our faces. Yeah, Nikki Haley is the problem with Nikki Haley is she's trying to appease her party by lying, because she knows that if she says, yeah, there's racism in this country, then she'll have to continue on answering questions. But, because I think Kamala has said something like that at one point in time, too, that racism is, America's not as racist as it used to be or something like that. So, they can't really just give it a full conversation because they don't want to piss off the white voters and everybody else who really believes that racism is not a thing in this country. So she might as well go on and sit down. She's not going to be the next nominee as far as a Republican candidate. So, Wendell, how you doing? He says, please check out the Los Angeles Declaration of Migration. Very eye-opening. Interesting. I didn't even know they had one. Be easy, that dude. How are you doing? Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. Facts Not Feelings. How you doing? It says Black community is led by women. That's why we are so emotional. It could be the case. I think it has a lot to do with us always being sold hope and change, and we shall overcome one day, and ain't no whatever gonna turn me around, all of that other stuff. We're sold that kind of stuff on purpose. It's to carry it on the string, right? Keep going, one day you'll get it. Just keep going, one day you'll get it. So I think that's why we're pretty emotional, or they kind of appeal to our emotions, and we need to be a little bit more aware of that. Hi, Andre, how you doing? Shirley says, why are the Democrats afraid of the after the fact? The Democrats needed to think about everything they didn't do for us before the election time. Well, because usually they by now Black people are like, okay, we're done being mad. We gonna vote blue no matter who. Usually we do that, but right now a lot of Black people, and we can see here even in this chat, are like, I ain't doing it. If I don't vote for Trump, then I'm gonna vote for the couch. I'm not gonna show up, right? So now it's only really 10 months until election. It's kind of late in the game for them to try to sell Black people. Because see, they're not really used to having to sell Black people on voting for them because we just gonna do it, right? But they're seeing a lot of pushback. So now they're like, yeah, I'm kind of scared that Black people are really pissed off with us for good. So, and it should be, because they deserve for us to be pissed off with them. Black America says, so are bad people for the most part supposed to go to jail? Yeah, if you do bad things and it warrants jail time, yeah, you should go. Michael says, Walter, Black people love Joe Biden because Bill Clinton was the first Black president. I understand where you're coming from. But see, that was emotional as well. I think it was Toni Morrison who came out with that. Well, Bill Clinton is the first Black president. A lot of Black people ran around saying that because he played a mean saxophone, on Arsenio Hall.
Ain't that? Lord have mercy. Now I watched him play the saxophone. I was like, that's a cool dude. I mean, but that was about it. And it's funny talking about Bill Clinton. Man, you Trump haters, you want to talk about crimes against humanity. What's up with your boy Bill Clinton? This dude, man.
No, nobody's gonna have that conversation. All the stuff, accusation that he's been in, you won't hear anybody talk about that. I mean, his name has been listed on the logs of Jeffrey Epstein, Lolita Island, and he's been implementing and doing something strange that he shouldn't have been doing. But you don't really hear people give that a conversation at all. Now, they tried to implement Trump into it, but one of the witnesses or the complaining witnesses is like, no, he never, and I'm paraphrasing, did anything inappropriate. He was there, but he never did nothing inappropriate. So, but then y'all notice how people don't have that conversation anymore about Jeffrey Epstein. But had it been the other way around, that he was over there, doing something crazy, then yeah, we still be talking about it. But Bill Clinton has been proven to be a big time certified 304 inside and outside of the White House. And it's like, big deal. Hey, Perry, how you doing? Says Trump is a lesser of two evils. Yeah, if you do the math, then he is, whether you like it or not. All right, so let me skip down so I can catch up. And Dredsky, how you doing? He says reparations will come with a Trump economy. That's interesting. It remains to be seen and be easy. It says Kamala Biden, Tim Scott, etc., said the same thing, talking about racism as a political boogeyman. Yeah, even black politicians. Well, no, racism is it's not really prevalent like it was back in the day. It's, things are getting better. And it's like, stop it. But they have to say that, right? Because they don't want to make people who aren't black that are facing racism mad. So that goes to show you already that they care more about them than they do about us. They just need us to show up, right? And then after that, they can go on and ignoring us for another 4 years.
I mean, racism does exist. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it still does exist.
But let me ask you, since you said that, what is the marker that says that is not as bad as it used to be? Like, how because when I hear people say that,
you couldn't buy a house, and these are your people. You couldn't buy a house through FHA as a black person. You couldn't vote. There's things you couldn't do as a black person that were the law, that are no longer laws. That's what I mean. So racism back then was like, hey, you drink from this sink, you drink from that one. Redlining where the banks were like, nope, we're not loaning in there.
But they still have redlining though.
Well, I'm sure there's some, of course they do. It's probably not as blatant, but it's not like it was like a red. I've seen maps where they have a red line drawn around the neighborhood. That's banks.
Well, can I maybe ask you this way? Because I've heard a lot of people say racism is not like it was. Can we maybe agree that it has shape shifted? That racism is still here, but it's maybe a little bit more on the esoteric side. It's covert and not overt like it used to be. Because we hear that argument a lot as far as Trump supporters. Oh, well, now that Trump has emboldened the racists. So it's like, okay, if he's emboldened the racists, did he make them racist? Or were they already racist, but they were just in hiding? See what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. It has a shape shifted. Now, of course, we know there are laws now that you cannot blatantly be racist to people. So like you said, with the whole buying a house, however, we still do hear stories like, the biggest credit union in the nation, Navy Federal, getting caught discriminating against black borrowers. And that was not even a month ago that this expose came out. So it takes place, but it's done in other ways. So that's why I said, so can we maybe agree that it is shape shifted and not necessarily gotten better?
Well, so that's one thing, and we have opportunities. I mean, I can use myself. I don't have college education, but I've just, I don't look at my race. I just look at, I need to get up and get moving, and there's certain things I need to do, certain things that most people aren't willing to do. Not willing to wake up early and keep going through. I'm gonna send you this video of this kid. He's 25. He talks about being broke and the struggle, and he's brother man. He just going through, and he was like, one day I just pushed through, and I've done $6 million in sales. I'll send it to you. But the point I'm making is you just keep going. So like 50 years ago, actually, maybe not. I'm gonna get my time frame right. Maybe 100 years ago, you understand where I'm going with this. As a black person, you couldn't do what you're doing today. And we have, I know there is racism out there. Like you can see it, yeah, like in the movies, like The Color Purple. But my question is, black people, why in the hell are you going to see Color Purple? They ain't paying nobody nothing. And I watched some scenes from it because it's all over TV. It's Martin Luther King month. Let's make black people, let's show them how stupid they look on screen. And when a brother broke the movie down, matter of fact, it was Farrakhan I was watching. He did a video on, it's an old video on The Color Purple. And he's breaking down how they are tearing the black man apart in The Color Purple.
Oh, I see it, yeah.
He's beating the women. He's the man. Harpo's a bitch. It's just like on and on and on. Like, name one strong black man in that movie. Maybe the dude Sugar Avery rolled up in, but he had a small part. He didn't say much of anything. And even he was dealing with a wild woman. So stop going to see these movies. We are participating in racism. Nikes. I haven't bought a pair of Nikes since they started messing with the basketball player. I haven't bought no Adidas, zero, since they started messing with Kanye. I won't buy Adidas, none of that. Even, so like,
yeah.
But I don't buy Bud Light. Bud Light's the cheapest thing on the thing, but since they went all transgender and all like woke, I don't buy Bud Light. So black people, when we stand by our morals, then we'll have power. Like December 1st, which is my birthday, Rosa Parks sat in the back of the bus in 55 and was like, I ain't moving. And then they shut the bus system down. Black people, stop participating in the racism. You don't like Nike? Stop wearing them. You don't like what they did to Taraji? Don't go see the movie. Period. Like, you participate in racism. We need to cut that out. Put the money in your pocket. But, we flock to go see these movies. I love Tyler Perry. I love Medea, but when you really think about it, it's like degrading black men, degrading black men. So like, we are participating in the racism. And I think that's the difference now. Back then, black people, when white people were the worst, we did the best. You can't have a hotel, Negro. You can't come in this hotel. Cool, we'll just build our own.
Let's see here. And Quincy, how you doing if I didn't already? So you said, where did I get this person from with the slick? Y'all know we don't use that word, babble. I don't know if y'all know, but Walter's my biological brother.
Her older and smarter brother.
Very much older brother. It was my very much older brother. And
that's the problem. You can't even have a conversation. We're having a conversation.
What? Wait. Can I?
I know, but don't you kill him.
I'm just gonna say, as I always say on the show, we don't always agree. We often not even just Walter, but y'all seen Donovan and I disagree, and sometimes people come up here, we disagree in comment section. But one thing I really love about this show format is because people, for the most part, let you speak your mind or whatever. I don't hold it against you, but we do try to come to an understanding and impart knowledge upon one another. Walter feels the way he feels. We feel the way we feel, however, but at the end of the day, we should aim to always be respectful, because that's how we learn. We learn from different points of views, things that we may agree with and things we don't agree with, but that's what a conversation is about.
And that's what we do. We attack each other. Black people, black on black crime. I'm not afraid of walking out of here. I ain't afraid of some white dude rolling up on me. I'm worried about us, the way we treat each other. Like, black on black crime, black hatred. Like, when you hear a black man that's not speaking swing low, oh, Jesus, the Democrats save us, then here come all the insults and the names. Y'all need to cut that out. Like, black people, we need to be able to, like, it's funny how I've sat in meetings with companies and in boards where they just fight. They'll say, that's a dumb idea. You losing your mind, but they will get together and go have dinner. Remember that OJ trial when Marsha Clark was straightening Johnny Cochran's tie? That moment has never left my mind. These two are on opposing sides, and she is helping this man get dressed on national television. Helping this dude. She ain't shit. But we can't agree, and we supposedly on the same side. And this is why black people, in my opinion, will continue to struggle, because we let our emotions get in the way. And when a brother says, wake up early, go to work, and you keep fighting, and you keep fighting a good fight, that just doesn't resonate with our people, and I don't understand. And we have some of the most successful people in the world are Black men, from the Robert Johnsons to the other brother, the hedge fund guy. I can't remember his name. Lord have mercy, forgive me. And Kanye, whatever. Like, I don't care what you say. No one has ever done what Kanye's done that fast.
Tito, yeah, Donovan is like my brother. I've known him for a long time, so he is like my brother. But Walter's actually my biological brother. Same upbringing, and everything else. Walter just has expanded his world, if you will, a little bit more than I have. I will say, my father tells me all the time, and I have four other siblings. My dad always says, you are more like me than any of your siblings. You are the most like me. So I'm the one, that spends a copious amount of time conversing with my father. We talk every day. And of course, having a conversation with my father is more like a master lecture, because he's telling me different things, whether it's from yesteryear or something, because my dad is FOI, has been since he's 19. So we were all born into the Nation of Islam. But my dad, he calls me almost every day, and we converse about different things. And I learned something new from my dad every conversation. I don't care if it's whatever it is, I learned something new. If that's why people are wondering, well, why is she this way? And can I be honest with y'all? I've been considered the more radical sibling, if you will. My other siblings, it kind of, like I said, they are a little bit more broad in the things that they do in their life and their world. Me, not so much. I've always been this way, always since I can remember. So, yeah, I'm the one that spends the most time with my father. He sends me books. They're not easy reads either, but he's like, you read these books? So I'm just trying to, give it a bit of context. But I should say too, that all of my siblings, except for me, they are certified geniuses, like certifiable, like in, GATE program and all of that. So they're very smart, like book smart. Well, I can give Walter a number, an equation, and he'll pop it out. Me, not so much. My mom used to say, your brothers and sisters they're very smart. They have a lot of book smarts, but you have the most common sense.
So that may be true. I mean, yeah,
it is true.
And the crazy part is, I get this angle actually comes from my father, because my father was always do for self, get up, wake up, let's go. I never saw my father complain. He talked about the white man obviously being Muslim, FOI Muslim. It's funny, all Muslims talk about the white man, actually, in real talk, or the West, whatever. But I get a lot of that from him. He was like, let's keep it moving. Let's get going. Like, what are we doing here? Let's go. So I just have taken that just one more step. I really think if my father was my age again and he had a chance to see, some of the things I've seen, I definitely would think that he would be more of a Republican. And I think if he was like active in the 50s, he would have definitely been a Republican.
But see, and that's true. Like, the thing about daddy, I never heard my dad really get involved with politics. I never have. Like, he'll have an opinion, but I never heard him say, never ever. My dad will be 80, in a couple of months. But I've never ever heard him say, I'm a big time Democrat or I'm a big time Republican. Because again, being in the nation, they're taught that, hey, scratch all of that. Y'all best to be about the business of doing for self. Because as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, nobody in that White House cares for Black people. They're not going to do anything for Black people. So let's do for self. So I could promise you, I've never heard my dad pledge an allegiance to any political party. Like, never. So my dad, I tell you guys a story all the time. He had a job. My dad is a mechanic and has been his whole life. He worked for Ferrari, and the owner of the particular shop accused my dad of scratching one of the cars and firing my dad. And my dad had to take them to the labor board to get all of his money. It took them months to pay him, but the labor board is like, yeah, y'all need to run this man his money. And every day that you didn't pay him, you need to pay him that paycheck every day. So my dad decided I will never ever be in a position, never be in a position again to where anybody can fire me. And my dad has worked for himself ever since. Now, I also tell y'all, my dad had a full ride scholarship to Pepperdine University on a football scholarship, and he forewent that scholarship and went to, because he learned of the nation when he was 19. And so he was 18, he had the scholarship, and when he was 19, he said, you know what? I'm not going to Pepperdine, full ride, mind you. I am going to go and learn of self, because Pepperdine, a white university, right, is not going to teach me about me. So he went and studied under the Nation of Islam and has been there ever since. So my dad is in the true sense of doing for self. He says, if God gave you these, there's no reason why you should ever go hungry. If God gave you this, there's no reason you should ever go hungry. So that's the kind of dad I got. And I would say Walter's a lot like him. Walter always tell you can never keep a job. He's been fired for every job he's had. So he works for himself. So I don't know.
And I don't have as much time to sit around and what's the word I want to use? Oh, I want to be careful because I know we get sensitive. I don't have enough time to really sit around and look at everything that's wrong with us. And I'm not in media, like my sister is. Her job is to know what's going on in the street. But
real quick, have you heard of this book?
Why should the whites have all the fun? Oh no. Sounds like a funny book. Is it a funny book or is it?
I don't know, but I'm gonna write it down.
I mean, I stopped looking at race a long time ago. I had to because it was consuming me. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When I was focused on race and man, I was the poorest I've ever been. I'll tell you, when I took my business and directed it toward helping just one race, man, I've never gone broke so fast. I tell you, if I could go back and do it again, I would open my business up and I would not charge toward one race. I tell you, focusing on race it keeps you poor. You can work hard and still understand racism and all that, but spending the majority of your time on it, like these politicians, they got balls to sit up in there and talk about they're afraid when they're sitting in Martha's Vineyard. Like Michelle Obama has 18 security guards and lives in Martha's Vineyard. Are you kidding me? What the hell are you afraid of? If Michelle Obama walked in my neighborhood to check her mail, I'd have to sit in this house for an hour until she was off the premises and a mile away. So stop listening to these people talking about they're scared. And ain't nobody. Kamala Harris ain't scared. Seriously, man. Y'all need to stop believing these fools. They're not afraid. What they're afraid is they're gonna be exposed. That's the problem. We need to get these cats out of here. And here's the cool thing: give Trump his 4 more years. If it don't work out, then you never see him again. But what do we have to lose? I'm excited for him. And I saw Vivek up there with him last night. I was like, oh, what's going down? Y'all better hope Vivek don't rank, because I don't care what you say. The dude, not all of us, everything he says makes sense. But when you got a guy that started from the middle, let's just call it that, because he had 2 parents, and ain't nothing wrong with that. The dude has started multiple life-saving businesses, and all they do is attack him for being a billionaire.
Can you answer this? Strong and humble, how you doing? It says Donovan, and then that's actually Walter. What would you suggest for those who aren't naturally business people or hustlers?
YouTube. There's a brother. I'm gonna give you his name. Let's see. I sent this to my I don't know if I sent it to you, but I sent it to my son Evan. I tell you this, his name is Jordan. He's a black dude. His name is Jordan Welch. I don't know if you can see in the chat. That's him right there. His name is Jordan Welch.
Okay.
Brother, how I went from broke to rich in 30 days. What he does is he goes, I'm gonna pretend I don't have any money. And he goes, what's the first thing I would do? He goes, I would Instacart. So him and his buddies, they sign up for Instacart. They got the shirts and they go and start doing Instacart. Oh, I just made $12. I got $8. He's like, at the end of the day, I don't know. It was some silly amount. Then the next day he made a couple hundred. And then after like 3 or 4 days, he had $500 in his pocket. And he goes, I'm gonna start a Shopify, and he bought a product, and then he blew through all the money because it didn't work. And then he goes, you know what? Me and my boys, we're gonna go deliver Christmas trees. So he went next to Home Depot somewhere, took a picture of him standing next to a Christmas tree, and put it on Facebook Marketplace. And said in one day they made $1,000 delivering Christmas trees. And so they started delivering Christmas trees. They didn't even own the tree. He took a picture with one and put an ad up, said, I'll deliver a tree for you. And people was giving him $40 tips, $50 tips, young black kid. And then he went back on and he started a Shopify account. And he started just downloading products. And like he do the video, he shows the whole thing. You know what he didn't? And he didn't talk about race one time. And the crazy thing is, he got a white mama, and you look at his mama, you'd be like, "Whoo, this like she went through it." Without going into all the details, but the kid had some pretty rough upbringing. But he was like, "Yo, I just kept going. I kept going." His black father wasn't around. His white mama was holding on for dear life. Looked like she was on drugs. But this kid took off, and he did it. The point I'm making has nothing to do with race.
Well, I would say this,
Shopify don't ask me what color I am when I downloaded the app.
And let's see who else came on here. Beach Material says lots of West Coast blacks have free thinking mindsets because cities like San Diego, San Francisco, Seattle, Portland, etc. are less than 9% black. That kind of leaves you no choice but to assimilate. Yeah, and I would say that too. We spent a copious amount of time living in Ventura, Santa Barbara, and we moved to Riverside, where there's a little bit more black people. But then and there, Santa Barbara, Ventura, not a whole lot of black people. And I would say I got a rude awakening about racism full on, because before we went to Ventura and Santa Barbara, we lived in East Los Angeles. Of course, you saw a little bit more people like yourself there, but moving to Ventura and Santa Barbara, there's a lot of white people. And I would say I experienced the most racism probably as a child. In those areas, told how we had big lips and, big butts, and we were ugly in our hair and this, that, and the other. But thank God that we had the parents that we had, because it didn't bother me a little bit, but not much. Like I didn't inculcate that, like, oh my God, so horrible, I wish I was white, or nothing like that. But because I had a very strong upbringing, as far as my father would always tell my sister and I, especially, hey, they trying to be like y'all. They paint their faces all kind of colors because they ain't got no color. They trying to be like y'all. So we grew up with that, So being in an environment like that, yeah, you're like a fish out of water, honestly. So you do kind of, think about things a little bit differently. I remember when we would go back to Los Angeles and visit our cousins, they would say, oh, y'all speaking white, y'all talking proper. And I didn't even really know what that meant, because I didn't understand that since we had moved in that area, that maybe we took on a dialect that was a little bit more, I don't know, white.
We on an English-speaking dialect. We are in the United States of America, where black people have.
I think they meant more or less like, not speaking like them. I get it. But so as I got older, I didn't understand what that meant. So the point of me even bringing that up is moving into that environment. Yeah, I don't want to say you assimilate. I didn't. Okay. But you do acclimate. I would say that a little bit. You get used to certain things.
And thank God. Hallelujah, Jesus.
Well, I listen, y'all know me, okay? Y'all know me. Wait a minute now.
Happy about it.
I wasn't happy about it, because one thing I don't like, and listen, I got a lot of
name calling and all that. I'm talking about, I'm glad we grew up where we did, because we got to see both sides. I have boys that have never left the hood, never left the black community.
Well, I'm saying I didn't like it. Okay. And I've never been, even when I went to Louisiana, give y'all a story. Went to Louisiana, New Orleans on my birthday last April. And New Orleans, they always have a bunch of festivals and stuff. So there's one particular square. It's like this yard, but it has a big old giant gate around it, and you can go in there and look. So my daughter and I, we were walking by, and I was like, okay, let's go in there. I'm this type of person. I took one look in there. I said, it's too many of them up in there. My daughter, she knows me, so she started laughing. And then I was talking to some of the tour guys, and one of them was like, oh, girl, you can't, he said, oh, you can't be afraid of them. I said, nah, you're getting it wrong. I said, it ain't about me being afraid of them. I said, I got sense. I said, I know better than not to be around too many of them in no situation at all. So I'm just that type of person. If I see a bunch of them, I'm not comfortable around them. It has nothing to do with being afraid of them. I'm just not, like, my spirit, if you will, is bothered. I feel like, nah, I'm not going to be around them. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad already told us, don't be having your black self around too many of them. Like, when are we going to learn?
Yeah, and that some of that is old rhetoric.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not old rhetoric, because we see time and time again. Wait. Because listen, you're gonna jump out there and you're gonna be wrong. It's not old rhetoric. We see time and time again one Negro trying to be the pepper in the bunch of a bunch of salt. And trust me, I've covered a lot of stories about this. And it's all
one of them. I'm talking about like in a more diverse crowd. That is
why. Why do we? They listen. When it always come to black people, and I'm not saying this about you, because I hear this a lot. It's always us talking about diversify. You tell me how many white people trying to be all up and around us. I ain't talking about that one white girl at the club either, or on the black side of the club. I'm talking about white people in general. They're not dying to be all up and around us like we trying to be up around. In fact, they have conversations amongst themselves. Don't bring no black man here. Don't bring no black woman to our table. But it's us.
We're going to the left. I'm not saying wanting to be around them. I'm saying being around a certain whites or Mexicans or Asians. I don't feel a threat about being around other people. And and it was on this, not this show, but the show we used to do, where everyone was like, don't go there. Don't. And even remember, you was like, and what they're trying to say, I won't use the word you use because we're not allowed to use that word anymore, is don't take your black ass over there. And I took my black ass over there and we walked away with $100,000 in profit.
Yeah, but tell the whole story. Yeah, you $100,000 in profit, but tell the story about that white man who talked to you like a boy even before he even signed the contract, and you had to tell him, I'm not selling you my house.
Here's the cool thing about that. So when I was selling it, the white man, he said something. The white man, he was just happened to be a white man, said something to me funky. And I was like, one, this is my house. Two, I don't need to sell you this house.
Yeah, he said, if you're not out of this house by a certain time, I'm calling the police on you. Because he said that to him before he even signed the contract.
And that's the beautiful thing about having power and money. Because I looked him in the face, was like, you can get your behind off my property. I told my real estate agent, it ain't going down. Now what? And I listened to them beg and plead for me to sign that paperwork. That's money.
Right. And Thunder, you said I sound like a valley girl. I totally doubt it. No. But I guess that was kind of the criticism too. Y'all sound white, I don't know, but like I said, sometimes you do acclimate to your environment. Let's see. Let me get down to some of these comments. And hello to everybody that came on here. And Lasox, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Says, why are people constantly talking about job programs, college tuitions, and BS like that? If you get reparations check, you don't need none of those programs. You should be self-sufficient. Exactly. But that's that whole little smoke screen there. Oh, we're going to get a better education for black people. Everybody, black person don't want to go to college. Some of us have already been. Cut the check and let me decide what I want to do with my money. You don't need to decide that for me.
And why do they keep cutting checks to the colleges? Like, I'm all for the HBCU thing, but most of us ain't never going to a HSBCU or HSHBCU or whatever. I'm not ever going to one. And hell with those kids. Man, if you were a 19-year-old kid, you got it easy in this country. Don't give the money to the adults. They keep doing that. Oh, black people, we need more education. Do we really? I think that school system is one of the reasons why black people are even going through some of this stuff. I'd say this girl I'm dating, her daughter comes home and says, Mommy, it's a true story. She's 6. Why did the white man kill the black man? And now she is 6 years old.
Who said this?
This is Mirisol's daughter.
Okay.
And I'm like, and she looked at me and said, don't look at me. I'm not getting involved. I did my roots of Martin Luther King.
Okay, so she said, why did the white man kill the black man?
Kill the black man, because that is what they're talking about now. So they're talking about this in school at 6 years old. They're having conversations about Martin Luther King being murdered, shot.
Okay, but let me ask you this: in school, did they talk? Do they talk about the Holocaust?
Yeah, they talk about it.
So why they can't talk about why they killing black people?
No, but I'm just making the point. But that's the school system. It's fear, and like this 6-year-old kid, I've never heard her say anything about skin color until that day. So now for the rest of her life, that gets to stay with her, and she gets to deal with race. The point I'm making is, why teach them that in the first place? Why does the school system need to teach us about slavery and roots? What benefit does that do me to sit in school and learn about slavery? And I was the only black kid in most of my classes till I was 14 years old.
Well, I mean, I like I said, I never sent my daughter to school to learn about slavery because they ain't gonna teach you right. I already know that. So and Walter tell you, even my daughter's father is like, when we didn't stay together, we broke up when she was 1. He was like, "You raising her to be a radical black woman." It's like, am I raising her to be a radical black woman, or am I raising her with knowledge of self? That's what she's supposed to have. I said, I'm not gonna have my child run around here, sleep and lost thinking she's somebody she's not. I'm gonna teach her what she's supposed to know. And my daughter didn't struggle with that. My daughter, as y'all seen my daughter before, she's very dark skinned. And my daughter does not struggle with that. Even though there's been comments made to her and, all that stuff. And I tell you all the time, my daughter, out of 10 grandchildren, she's the only, I guess, fully black grandchild, she's never struggled with that, even though there's kind of been comments made. Like one time, my daughter and my niece, who is, like my daughter loved dearly, they were standing up together. As a matter of fact, Walter, we was coming out of your office, and some lady client of yours, she was a sister. She comes up to, it was my brother's daughter. She's Puerto Rican and black. It says, "Oh," and my daughter's standing there. "Oh, you're very beautiful. Oh, look at your hair. You're very beautiful." And she looks at my daughter and she says, "Oh, you're cute too."
Oh, I don't remember that, but I
can't remember her name. But my daughter was like, "All right," but that didn't bother her because my daughter knows, she's a beautiful black girl, and she's a woman now, but at the time. But so when you don't teach your kids knowledge of self, that stuff hurts. That what my daughter would have heard is, "Oh, well, you must be ugly, or I must be ugly because she says that I'm cute too," after she just gushed over my niece, who is very beautiful. So you have to teach your children knowledge of self so they don't get beat up in the world or learn it the wrong way about slavery. Most children that go to school learn about slavery, they're not going to tell them the truth about slavery, because if you tell them the truth, then you're going to include a Nat Turner up in there. You're going to include that. Even the Haitian Revolution, even though it happened over here, you're going to include that kind of stuff. All the revolts that happen, you're going to include that stuff. You're not going to say, "Well, slavery happened and they picked some cotton and then Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves and now the black people are, can parlay that into a good job." They're not going to hear the wrong way. They're going to hear it the right way. So her daughter hearing that, if maybe from her 6-year-old mind, she heard white people kill black people. Now that should have been explained to her instead of brushed under the rug.
Well, I broke down what happened to Martin Luther King, but like, is it really my job? And first of all, my girlfriend's Mexican. She looks, I don't know, for lack of a better word, her daughter, she looks like a white girl. And she goes, "Mommy, so me and you killed Walter's family?" And this is a 6-year-old girl. I was like, "Oh, here we go." So I explained it to him. But, I was like, they killed him because he started telling black people to do for self. And he wanted to he started changing the game. He wasn't taking Negroes down the road. And I'm having this conversation with a 6-year-old.
Well, like, not now when?
We keep having, but the point I'm making, we keep pumping education to our kids. And that is not the answer. Because how many kids have college degrees and can't do nothing? Can't get out and get a job? Like, how many kids I know with a college degree that isn't working in that field? That is a scam, in my opinion. And then we have student loan debt. And by the way, if you have student loans, that is your fault. You signed, your parents signed, one of y'all signed for student loans. You don't get to bitch about it. Those are your loans. Pay them and shut the hell up. Because I can't go to my bank and be like, "Oh, Lord, I don't want to pay my business loans." But listen, And the student loan thing was a scam anyways. He wasn't going to do it. What he did is he wanted to get the kids, all the millennials, all riled up, and surprised, he slipped the rug from under you. Now what are they doing? Talk about student loan debt again. They're just going to keep giving you that stuff. They're not going to never do it. And we got too many illegals anyways. So do for self. And I wasn't earlier saying, I need to be around white people. That's not what I'm saying. I like being around all people. I do. And honestly, I've gone against what a lot of people say. Oh, don't go do business with white people. Why not? We want them to do business with us.
No, I ain't saying we shouldn't do business with them. Dr. Claude Anderson says, was it buy black and sell to everybody? So of course, but what I'm saying is, one thing, it's definitely important that we teach our people, our children about, I don't call it Black history, it's American history, about what they did to us, because racists don't stop teaching racism to their children. How is it that in 2024 a child can go to school and be called the N-word or whatever it is, because their people ain't stopped teaching racism, but yeah, we want to stop learning about it. So it's like, as if you teach your child about racism and that it still exists, that way when they go to school and somebody say something adverse to them, then they know how to talk to them. I tell y'all the story all the time. My sister, when she was, I think, kindergarten, first grade, the teacher might have been messing with my sister, whatever, bullying her, I don't know. So my sister called her a blue-eyed devil. And so the teacher wanted to have a meeting with my mom and dad. And then my dad said, well, what was you doing to her to make her call you that? Now, the point that I'm even making to bring that up is because that's the teachings we got at home. My sister clearly recognized a blue-eyed devil, so that, which when you teach her, I'm not saying, because I don't think it was disrespectful, but when you teach your children that stuff earlier on, then they can recognize racism when they see it and they don't have to keep putting up with it. And they come home and say, hey, this is what happened to me at school or whatever the case is, and you can deal with it accordingly. I tell you all the time, I got stories of my daughter in the school system, and I thank God every day that I was the type of parent, I was involved in my child's schooling because she had an Asian teacher, Miss Kwan, and she did not like Black people. One day it was pouring down rain, and my daughter's school class was in a trailer because they were doing renovations to the school. So the trailer was kind of way off, and so I could drive around and drop her off. Now, she had made it into the door right when the bell rang, and so I hadn't pulled off yet. So then I saw my daughter coming out the classroom. I rolled the window down. Mine just pouring rain. This is the way in the back of the school where nobody could see her. I said, what are you doing? She says, she sent me to the office because she says I'm late. Got my black ass out that car, pouring rain, and I stood in the front of the doorway. Kids and everything in the classroom. I said, is there a reason that you sent my daughter out of the classroom and she made it in on time? So she didn't know I was still out there. And she goes, I thought she was late. I said, she wasn't late. I said, so again, why are you sending my daughter walking through the rain and back in this classroom where ain't nobody out here to the office? She couldn't explain herself. So that's why I'm saying, too, we got to be diligent, especially in this racist school system. We got to be diligent with sending our Black children to school because they are sitting in the classroom more times than not with a teacher who don't like them simply because they are Black. And unfortunately, they know some of our children have parents who are asleep at the wheel and will never have a God's clue that kind of stuff is happening to them. But I called it out every time I could. Matter of fact, I'll tell you about the time they called the police on me because it was a white child that kept on messing with my daughter, kept putting her hands on her. And so I told my daughter in front of when she got in the car one time, and then she was sad. I said, what happened? She says, Danielle, that was a white girl's name, big white girl too. She says, she keeps hitting me. She kicked me. Now, I've had conversations with the teachers. I had conversations with the principal, everything. So I got out the car, went over to that child, and there was a yard lady there too. And I said, did you kick my daughter? She says, no. And there's another little white boy behind her. Said, yes, she did. I saw her do it. And I told my daughter, I said, I don't send you to school to fight. I said, but the next time she put her hands on you, I said, you have my permission to whoop her butt. So she went home and told her parents that I threatened her and cussed her out. So they called me. They said, when you come up to the school, come to the office. We need to talk to you. I kind of had a feeling something was going on. There was a Black police officer in there. Said, well, why I'm here. They said you threatened the child. I said, there was a yard lady there. Did she tell you I cussed at a child? I threatened the child. She says, no. I said, but you took the word of those white people, didn't you? I said, well, let me ask you this. I said, did they call you when my black daughter was being kicked and assaulted by a white child? He says, no. I said, why do you think that is? And he starts laughing at this point. I said, you know why it is. I said, because my child is black, her child is white. I said, but they rang the alarm and got you up here because some crazy black lady is threatening white kids, huh? He says, oh, it ain't like that. At this point, he bringing it down a notch or two. He says, how many kids you have? I said, I got one. He says, oh, okay, well, I understand. Now I said, if I had 10, I'm going to raise the roof with all 10 of them. And he says, okay. He says, can you do me a favor? Can you not talk to children anymore? I said, I'll stop talking to them as long as they don't put their hands on my daughter. He started laughing. And I said, now you go have a conversation with those white people about their daughter putting their hands on my daughter. But I tell you one thing, they never put their hands on, she never put her hands on my daughter again. Never, not one time. See, because I don't play about mine, because I know how the school system works. I can write a book on it. Be honest with you. So, but we got to be diligent. We can't allow these, but we got to teach our children knowledge of self. We have to. Alonzo, how you doing? It says HBCUs have about 30% of other than black. Yep, and it's getting more and more. So that says they're actually taking advantage of the cheaper tuition. They will never forgive student loans. Another way to keep us enslaved here. Oh yeah, as long as you keep people in debt, you will always have a slave. Slavery to debt. Roz, how you doing? It says black children need to know about slavery and all of our black history. By the time I was in kindergarten, my parents had books in our home that have photos of the atrocities that white people did too. Yeah, I did. We did too. We've seen it all.
Yeah, we got the black book. I wasn't a fan of it, and that's not something I would do for my children. I would teach them to be awake and what they could do better. And I want them to know history. But yeah, I spared my kids the photos and all that stuff. But yeah, I just took the approach of, hey, you know what, you need to be on your game, don't fall asleep. And we're in a mixed world now. It's everybody, and 100 years, everybody gonna be the same color, beige. So I don't know what we're gonna do. And as far as, it's funny you talking about your daughters, their skin color. I've seen more on TV now, dark black women on TV more than ever. And they pairing them up with the white dudes. I just watched this show, some crazy show about why did I kill my husband? I don't know why I watched that.
You know what though? And that a lot of times, yeah, we know they feel a way about us, but sometimes that comes from our own people, because we don't have, because they don't have knowledge of self, and they think it's okay, to talk to somebody. Oh, you're cute too. Like, well, she don't need you to verify that. She don't need you to validate that for her, because she knows she cute, but I knew where she was going with that. But I was like, damn, this is one bad sister here. But I didn't want to make a scene,
Oh wow.
Yeah, and she says neither party is for us. Trump is going to keep qualified immunity and give cops more power. Oh, you mean like Obama did when he did the blue alert law? Y'all don't ever talk about that, huh? And how you doing, by the way? Y'all never talk about Obama giving the officers more power. Obama did the blue alert to let officers know when they were in danger. But did he do a black alert to let black people know that we were in danger for police officers? In fact, police brutality against black people went up at an all-time high under a black president. So we talk about Trump, but we never talk about Obama. Why, Asha? Why?
Yeah, and yesterday I was watching on the news, 2 cops in New York got shot, one in the finger, one in the leg. Do you know that whole street must have been 100 police officers on that street standing there talking, had the whole street blocked off. News media coverage, the mayor, the chief of police, 40 people on stage. You got 2 cops, one shot in the finger, one in the leg, and they got the whole city shut down. Dave Chappelle said it, he joked about it. This brother shot this cop, and they sent 400 police officers to kill this one dude. Let a cop get shot right now, and you're going to see every single law enforcement car flying down the street and the freeway. So, missing with that, Donald Trump is giving policemen more power. They've always had that power, 100%. So, yeah, nobody ever talks about the Democrats and Obama. Man, he had the will for 8 years, him and Michelle. He had come on now. You can do nothing, like no black, like not even like, and in his last year, he could have said, you know what, I'm going to take care of my people. I guarantee we get a Jewish president, He gonna do what he can. We get an Asian president. Look, we got an Asian hate bill, and we even get an Asian in office. Well, technically, Kamala Harris, is she Asian or is she more Indian? The other half of her. I don't know.
I know when she ran for, she won the Senate of California. They called her, I think it was Indian, first Asian American, Indian American, something like that. So it just depends on the time of day, or the day of the week you ask her.
Right now we have an Asian hate bill. I don't even know what that means. You get in a fight with an Asian? Are you in court because you slapped the shit out of an Asian because you guys were in an altercation? If I'm dating an Asian woman and I have a Jonathan Majors and she's chasing my black ass down the street.
Right. And let me say this too. I've been getting some information, and I saw somebody else put it in the chat, so I want to kind of give that a little bit of a conversation. So give me 1 second here. Something the Wired and came up. Hold on a second. So this says here, woman known as Brick Lady charged in Houston after being accused of making the whole thing up, raising $42,000 on GoFundMe. So y'all remember the lady who got allegedly, and now it sounds like at this point it's a lie. She got hit in the face with a brick. Y'all remember that? We had a whole show on it. So it says a woman who went viral on social media after making claims a man assaulted her with a brick outside of a Houston club is now accused of raising tens of thousands of dollars in a GoFundMe scam. Rhoda Osmond, 33, has been charged with a felony by deception. According to charging documents, Osmond raised at least $40,000 through a fraudulent GoFundMe page. She started in September that claims she was the victim of a similar attack more than 3 years ago. Now, of course, you guys know it says on September 3rd, so that was last year, Houston police officers responded to an aggravated assault incident. They met Osmond and her female friend. During an investigation, officers reported that Osmond was intoxicated, hostile, and irate. In an original police report made on the scene, Osmond claimed that she was walking on Shoshamer, lane, where an unknown man threw a brick at her when she would not give him her phone number, court documents show. Now let's see here. It's kind of long, so I'm just kind of getting down to the bottom of it. So what is she actually being charged with? So it sounds like, she's done it before. 2000, it says she's had a lot of issues going back to 2012. So she has a criminal history. So they're saying the Harris County District Attorney Office is asking the court to enter in a $50,000 bail on the theft by deception charge she now faces. So, of course, you guys know that, as I said, we did talk about it. And I was one of those people, I didn't know if it happened. But I said if it did, that's kind of my assessment, that it's jacked up that it happened to her. But now it sounds like we know that it is not real. So I want to say, here, I'm not one of those people that's going to stand 10 toes down on something, an opinion that I had that was wrong. I am saying that I was wrong. I was not wrong for saying that if she got hit, because I said if she got hit, by the brick is wrong. But I want to say that I'm wrong because she was wrong, if that makes any sense. And it's kind of tricky in this thing called social media, because I have studied journalism. And back in the day, let's say even back in the day, like Walter Cronkite days, right? Back in those particular days, stories took a while to go across the wire, if you will, right? They had time to kind of do research and, kind of go over it with a fine-tooth comb. But in the day of social media, everything is so quick, right? Everybody wants to be the fastest one to get up there and get the story up, because with you being the first one with the story, you're the first one with the most views usually. You're the first one with the most views equals the most money. Let's just keep it real, right? So what happens with that is there's a lot of yellow journalism that is injected into that, where people kind of go with the story and not go with the facts. And so this happened in September, October, November, December, January. So roughly 5-ish months later, now it comes out that she was not telling the truth. And so that's kind of a lesson. And I'm saying for me sitting on this side, for us to really try to be a little bit more diligent when we tell the story, and I will say that I was like, I don't know if she's telling the truth or not. That's what I was saying. I was more or less defending that if it happened to her, it was wrong. But it really just speaks to how we should spend a little bit more time with the story. And I will say this one thing about Brother Phil with the African Diaspora News Channel. If y'all notice with a lot of our stories, they're not like as they happen, right? Like a lot of channels, other channels, you'll get the story like the minute it happened, it'll come out. But what Phil has done is like, listen, and he says this a lot. We gonna tell the story. We don't have to be the first one because a lot of things can develop, right? A lot of things could happen, and usually it does something else might happen or a different twist on it or whatever. So you want to kind of get all the information that you can. And I actually love that process. Unfortunately, a lot of times the viewer, they're like, oh, well, that's kind of, that happened last week. But it's like, but you still should be interested in the story because maybe we've learned something else or we have a different spin on it or whatever. So the way we do it on the African Diaspora News Channel is really kind of more old school. You wait to learn as much as you can. And that gets rid of the yellow journalism. Yellow journalism is fake news. It's, inflated. It's puffery. That's a term. It's puffery where it's the truth is inflated or it's not true at all, right? It's sensationalism and it's not really facts. It's more, feelings, if you will. And a lot of that is driven by money. And so I'm glad that she is going to face the music for lying, no pun intended, right? For lying and amassing a lot of money. I'll tell y'all one thing, she didn't get no money from me. Because like I said, I didn't know if she was telling the truth or not. So she should face all the charges that she has coming to her for lying. And hopefully GoFundMe will refund all the money. I'm going to say this. Maybe GoFundMe shouldn't return all the money. Because it's like, for me, I would have needed to know more to send her some money. You know what I'm saying? So maybe people that should be a lesson that they paid for. Then again, maybe some people just really felt, oh, she was telling the truth. I feel sorry for her. I'm going to give money. But then like a lot of other people are like, well, why does she need to have a GoFundMe? What happened to her that she needed to have a GoFundMe? Nevertheless, she amassed almost $50,000. But it sounds like it wasn't the first time. And I did, in fairness, see a lot of people talk about it. Her saying, them saying that it wasn't the first time that she's concocted such a story. So yeah, one thing about social media is it's forever. Now, when she was doing it before, maybe it wasn't on social media. Maybe it didn't go viral. And her going viral with the story was actually to her detriment because one thing I'll tell you about the internet, it will go digging. The internet will find out about you, so yeah, she's going to pay for that. I'm going to get into you guys' comments. Let's see here. I saw the Black America. Thank God. Star Child says, I never believed it. Ruth Tracker says her father is also Scott Ireland. Y'all know I don't like that word, the tether word. She was it Ethiopian? I think she was, or something like that. Somalian. She's Somalian. Brother Reggie said, I remember that. And Conscious Ether, he says, good. Though it sounds like she's being charged and held on $50,000 bond. So y'all know here in Harris County, they were like, oh, you only got 5 cents? Yeah, you can get out. So I don't know. Let's see here. Just kind of reading y'all comments. So let me go back down to the bottom. Hey, more Sam, how you doing? Says, I remember you covered the story and you did say that you weren't sure if it was true or not. So no worries. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to say, because I did cover the story, that if I led anybody to believe that I believed her or any of that kind of stuff, I want to apologize. Because like I said, I'm never one of those people who want to die on the hill. I'm right. No, that's not what if I led anybody to believe that's my stance on it, I do apologize for that. But as I said, we really got to do a little bit better job of fact checking. And I know it's hard nowadays to do it because it's like, I want to be first. I don't suffer from that, but a lot of people do. I want to be first to tell the story so I can get all the views and, all that kind of stuff. So, and Brother Ray says, right, you got to fact check thoroughly. You have to as much as you can because, this thing is ever changing. And Asha says, wasn't supposed to say that. Autofill put that because you be out the typing that word a lot, don't you? Brother Samuel says, money question for Walter. If you were, let's say, raising a building fund, where would you hold it while you are gathering it to get the best bang for your buck? So I guess if you're raising money, I guess he's saying how would you do it? Which portal would you do it? Is that what you mean, Brother Samuel?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like I don't have a particular platform that I would use. Maybe there's some crowdfunding apps, but I don't know if that would qualify for that. If I was going to raise money, I would do it word of mouth. Where I would put it right now is in residential commercial real estate, especially right now, the way the world is going. That's, buy something hard, solid, that's going to, dirt with structure on it.
Says, I'm not sure in the bank.
No, you got to have money in the bank because you got to have money liquid for emergencies and things. Actually, money in the bank can be more powerful than an investment because money in the bank protects you against things going wrong.
So anyway, I see you watching and got your coat on. Brother, do I need to send you a new coat?
No, this is the coat I got from France. Man, I love this coat. I got I sound like my father. I love this coat. I don't care how ratchet it. No, it's cold. I just threw it on. But
I need to send you a new coat?
No, I'm gonna order it. I'm gonna go to Zara. I got it from Zara in Bordeaux when I was in France.
I see that bleach thing. He actually did that when he was here in Texas, bleaching. He rocking the coat.
Yeah, I'm rocking the coat. It's bleached on, but man, I love this coat. It's got 2 bleach stains on this side. Now I'm gonna get another one. But yeah, I'm gonna roll on out of here so I can start my second job. Get rolling.
All right, Walter, we're gonna let you go. Brother Reggie says, but Walter ain't paid that heating bill. Laugh out loud. Now I already know Walter. When he put on his coat, he trying to roll out.
I got a coat.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you another coat. If I come to California and I see you with that coat, I'm taking it and I'm gonna bring you another one.
It's just time to stop and actually go online and order because you're busy. Things happen.
Listen, we didn't have this conversation before with you. Okay, you ain't never that busy.
Yeah, maybe not. All right, y'all.
All right, thank you.
All right,
bye. Yeah, logical thinker. You say I did a whole video defending that half of my sentiments still stand about femicide toward Black sisters, though. Yeah, yeah. But shame on it all, right? For us, I didn't defend her. I said I don't know if she did it, but for those who defended it and you did it because you thought she was truly assaulted. I mean, look at the video. She sounded convincing because it's like, well, who hit you on the head like that? Who would do that to you? So she sure did go above and beyond, right? To prove her point. I mean, she had a big old knot and all that. And then there was a video. So I don't know, were the guys in on it too? Because they were like, they saw it happen. So it's like, were they in on it? Like, what's going on? Because it seems like a very elaborate scheme now that we know it is fake. So somebody actually hit her and like, what happened? And Michelle says, we can learn and help on another. Okay. And Sissy, how you doing? So just because she is scared, it makes me want to vote for Trump. It's no other reason but to close the border. Yeah. Closing the border actually helps us as Black people. So that's a good reason. And he said it would be the biggest deportation in the history of the United States. So, yeah, I was logical thing. It says, Demetri about to start clowning. I love it at the end of the show. No, I ain't gonna start clowning. Yeah, I've seen Walter in that coat and like, come on, man. It don't even look like that blotch is supposed to be there. It's a bleach spot. I don't know. So, go back to California. He have that coat on. It's gonna come up missing. Or he can at least bleach the whole thing, right? And Herschel says, don't you hate when your sister tries to replace your stuff? I mean, come on now. Your brother was walking around with that bleach spot. Wouldn't y'all take the coat too? Would it come up missing? You hide it or whatever. Now, he got it from, he was in France or something. So I guess he's, attached to the coat. But if I replace it, he ain't going to know the difference. He ain't gonna know. And let me tell y'all one thing about Walter. He is notorious for throwing people's stuff away. I don't care. It could be the Hope Diamond, and you leave it on the table or somewhere long enough, he'll throw it away. Oh, that was yours. I thought it was trash. He's throwing everybody in the family stuff away. And my dad had a vendetta against my brother for like 2 years because my brother went to his house and threw all of his stuff away. Because Walter's the type of person, he's a neat freak. Like, he does not like nothing out of his place. Went to my dad's, threw a bunch of stuff away. And my dad was like, I'm cutting him off. I'm never speaking to him again. And this went on for almost 2 years. I think he's forgiven him now, but I was like, yikes. Daddy is really mad at you. What did you do? Oh, I just threw some suits away that was too big, and I threw it. I said, you did what? Yeah, I don't blame him for not speaking to you anymore. He says, where did the knot come from? So he saw about the sister, right? Who hit her in the head? Was somebody working with her? Unless she hit herself, then that's pretty dedicated, right? You take a brick, bam, and hit yourself on the head. Yeah, but the internet is going to find out. You can believe that. And more Sammy says that's part of how she got found out. Really, so I got to really get into the story because it just came to me while I was on here. But I'm sure it's going to be a lot of people making videos. We told you she was lying. You shea butter Twitter sisters, y'all defending everybody. I already know it. Michelle says, one another. Says, thank you, Demetri K. I appreciate your commentary, and I appreciate you being here. And you said also your average logical thinker. I defended Carly Russell too. I need better discernment. Now that one, I was like, nah. Like, if you just come up missing in the middle of the freeway, what happened to the baby? To me, that sounded suspicious just right off the bat. I was like, nah, this ain't right. Ain't nobody take her, you know. And did she end up doing a year in jail? Is she getting sentenced to a year? But yeah, that's the one thing about discernment. I know sometimes people get on this thing and they say all kind of stuff that's not true, which is why I don't want to say we have to live in a society to where we're skeptical. Like, I don't believe you. I think we should wait and see. Wait and see. I want to wait and see, you know, all the stuff that's going to come out. If more people going to have something to say, you know, and then we can make a more informed decision. People aren't interested in making it in an informed decision anymore. They just want to be the first one out the gate. They don't care about it being right or any of that stuff. I just want to be the first one, which is why you guys will notice for me on my channel, like a year or so ago, I would do a lot of commentary on stuff. Then one day it just hit me. I was like, why do I got to be making a commentary on everything? I don't have to be making a commentary on everything. So I stopped. I really only do the live shows. I don't do videos and then put them up anymore because I don't want to be that person that has an opinion on everything because it gets kind of annoying, right? So sometimes we just have to wait and see. Let's see. Black America, you say, who is going to feed you people if they get rid of the food pickers? What food pickers you talking about? Asha says she had a reaction. There's another video of her head being lopsided. So she had like an allergic reaction or something. He says we can feed ourselves like we were doing before. Yeah. Conscious either. He says they determined that she had a filler put in her forehead. For real? Okay, that's a lot of wow. That heifer don't sound like she wrapped too tight. Going through all that. Oh, so she put fluid in her face, Black America? Wow. So it was a syringe or something like that. And Rockin', how you doing? He says, oh, Trump 2024. Okay. Black America says, you fought me over the fake kidnapping. I didn't fight you over the fake kidnapping. I know that I remember the back and forth, but I know I never said that Carly was kidnapped because I didn't know if she was kidnapped. I know if me and you had a verbal fisticuff, it was probably because you said something that was incendiary. I'm sure of it. Yeah, shea butter Twitter sisters, you know, the ones, as they say, they got the septum ring and, you know, all of that and just doing the most. They hate all black men. They don't like nothing black if it's a man and, you know, all that other stuff. Yeah, I stay away from that crowd. They're very intense. Michael says it's time to invest in treasury bonds, annuities, accounts, index funds, etc. In addition to fighting for cash payment for reparations for ADOS. I can dig it. Sissy says, I hear the fear in her voice. I love it. Or whose voice? And Shahid, how you doing? It says they're only interested in hiring immigrants after destroying their country's economy through economic embargoes, sanctions, and wars. Sissy says they have put us through hell. And Pamela says only, of course, our people give the enemies the benefit of the doubt, but our own people, you have an issue with that. Shaking my head. Black America, like I said, me and you I gave you a hard time. I'm sure it's because you said something crazy. I'm positive. And I don't even have to go back and look at the video. I'm sure you said something that was off the wall, because that wouldn't be unusual, would it? And Asha says she came out with another video accusing Black women of attacking her after that. Oh, yeah. So problem sometimes with people is when you breaking the law, they don't know how to just go away, right? They continue breaking the law and continue raising suspicions where people are like, okay. Now that reminds me, I did throughout my master's program, I wrote a lot about Anthony Weiner. Y'all remember he was like a congressman from New York or something like that. Anthony Weiner, no pun intended, got caught sending his wiener, texting it rather, to all of his followers. Now he thought he was texting it to a jump off, and I think she was young, like underage or something. And then when that came out that he did it, he says, "Oh, I was hacked. I don't know who did this to me. I was hacked." Now, when I heard the story and I saw it unfold, I was like, surely this is not the end of it, because when somebody exposes you and they know they got the truth, and then you say, "Oh, that's a lie. I was hacked. I didn't do that." Then, of course, they're going to go and get the evidence, and then they prove that he wasn't hacked, that he indeed accidentally sent his Schweiner to his followers instead of the girl that he meant to text it to. Now, mind you, he was married to Hillary Clinton's like personal assistant or something like that. So, of course, ruined his career, but he was, very staunch and outspoken Democrat and all that. He ended up going to jail, getting divorced. It was just a mess. But I thought about it. I was like, he should have not said nothing. Should have just, hoped for it to go away. But to say, "Oh, I was hacked," and, it all really came crashing down, and we haven't heard nothing about Anthony Weiner since. So, let's see here. Michelle, you crazy. Brother Sammy says, we should definitely adopt a wait and see strategy and stories put out by American media. Most effective devil in America media. Yeah, I like that. Herschel says, there's some crazy Black people too. The one chick tried to burn down MLK's house. Yeah, what was going on with that? Go ahead and go back and look, Black America. I know you were saying something crazy. It'd be easy. I try to be a fair debater. I try. Sometimes people, Black America, be doing the most. Yeah, Anthony Weiner, he was a trip out. Yeah, I studied him. I was like, he should have just. But see, that's sometimes the people, especially people in power. Shut up, you fools. You don't know more than me. Listen to me. I'm telling the truth. And it's like, no, you're not, because whoever uncovered that stuff about you and put that out, they meant to expose you. And one thing they're not going to be is called a liar. You're not going to call these people a liar, and they're going to say, well, because now their reputation is on the line. Now people think they lying. So now they're going to double down. Nope, it was him, and this is why it was him. And the man ended up doing, I think it was like, 15 months or 2 years in prison for it. Because you can't text your weenie to an underage girl. And it was proven that he knew she was underage. Now, mind you, this is, he's married to Hillary Clinton's right-hand woman and all of that. So, it wasn't like he was just some regular dude. He was in high places doing that. And I think he did it once before, and his wife took him back, but then he did it again. So basically, he was still cheating and got caught up. So it's crazy. And you also say be easy, fair in terms of allowing people to speak different perspectives. Keep up the great work. I appreciate that. Yeah, because I think everybody's opinion is valid for the most part. Michael said, Demetri, I did not know that you have a master's degree. I thought you have a BS in degree in public relations. The good thing about people not knowing I have a master's degree is I don't talk about it a lot. In fact, I be forgetting I even have the degrees, because I'm not one of those people. I have a master's. I have an MBA. I do. I have an MBA in public relations, and I have a BA in communication. So, but again, it's important in some areas, but it's not important enough for me to be bragging about it, right? my whole name is long because I got all the titles behind it. I think it's ridiculous. But yeah, right, conscious. He lived up to his name. I always said that too. Like, wow, who would have thought? Yeah, Herschel, he got caught a few times, but he just kept doing it, and it kept saying people were lying on him. It's like, come on, man, knock it off. And proper perspective says, as soon as I find the right property, I'm buying in Africa. Yeah, a lot of people say they out of here. Sissy says there are closing down schools that our kids go to put illegal aliens in. A lot of them have become entitled. Oh yeah, I've seen the videos. Third Coast McQueen, how you doing? Says I remember when Black America said that the show is boring, and he said that he is the one making the show. But every time he comes on, he's the first one bumping his gums. So y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, Black America's a regular here, but he be saying the most. When he got put in time out for a while for saying that women were property. It's like, okay, you done. You done for a minute. You on restriction. So yeah, I need, but my master's degree is in public relations. And Charlene's Angel, how you doing? Says, what's up with all the yeah, but that ain't rare. There's a lot of them in Hollywood, politics. And y'all ever notice like a lot of the politicians, it seems to be a lot of Republicans for some reason. Oh, you know, anti-LGBTQ, anti this, anti that. And they be the main one caught up in a closet with a dress on. And it's like, oh, you was protesting the lie. Now we see why, because you didn't want nobody to know it was really you doing that kind of stuff. It never fails. Nah, be easy. I'm a PhD. No, I never have been one of those sisters. Because what does that really do? You know, for anybody, ain't no man trying to be booed up or no. You know, it's nice for. I think that women should be educated, but I don't think that should be what you lead with. Hello, I'm Demetra, and I have a master's degree. Most men gonna be like, okay, how's that master's degree working out for you when you lay next to it in the bed? What does it do? You know what I mean? Can that master's degree walk the garbage can out? Can it insulate the pipes? Can it bleed the pipes? You know, when there's a freeze going on, what can it do any of that for you? Well, no. So I for a whole host of reasons, I just don't make that a thing. Like my mom used to always tell me, go and get your doctorate, go get your PhD. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. You know, is it important? Like I said, certain things, but to be bragging about it, I never do that. Never. Let's see here. In proper perspective, I'm familiar with him. I would like to see more influences representing the full reparations package, not just the cash part. Okay. Yeah, right. Black America. Star Child says the migrants are coming here are sick. Yeah, I'm sure they got a lot of stuff going on. Black America says women and men who are married are property. No, they're not. Nobody's property to anybody. Okay, we are people. That's what they said about slaves. They said our ancestors were property. Nobody is property. Now, your women might not mind being property, because when I hear somebody's property, I also hear that they have a leash around their neck, you know, like that, and you tie them up at night, and then you let them out during the day to go in the yard and use the bathroom, and then they got to come back. But most people wouldn't even treat their pets like property. I guarantee if I brought Donovan on right now, I said, are your pets property? He would fall out because he don't see his pets as property. So we're surely not going to see humans as property. But I can't. I know I didn't block Black America. He was on timeout from coming up here. Asha, you say, did y'all see the video of the legal guy at the Chicago Council meeting telling Black people no more money for us? Yeah, our brother Phil covered that. Did a great job. You know, he talking about what did he say? Y'all lazy, but they're entitled. Arneva says, I didn't know you sent Black America to block. No, I didn't block him. He was not allowed to come up here. That was about a couple of weeks. Because he know what he said up here calling women property. It's like, now, see, every time you get close to the line, you get closer, and then you just hopped all the way over that mug that day. So, yeah, he be on one. Michelle says, that's the way it is. We are one. Yep. Miss Weeds Talk says, wait and see, 100. In proper perspective says, yes, I do anything along the lines of Elijah Muhammad and Marcus Garvey is 100 for me. Oh, absolutely. And Black America says the old ball and chain, that ain't saying, that's not a saying for a reason. Well, that ball and chain was seen. That's how you got to educate yourself. The ball and chain analogy was, oh, my old lady, she won't let me, right? She always on my bumper, like she's chained to me type of thing, like she was a hindrance. It wasn't because the ball and chain, because she was property. It was like it's a running joke. It's like, I don't know, old husbands, how, oh, I got to go home to the ball and chain. Like she's always on nagging me type of thing. That's what that was. It wasn't she's property. Come on now, educate yourself. And Lillian, he says, yep, he caught hands outside her around the corner. Michael says, Demetri, I think that Black America is referencing to his woman as property. In terms of a woman providing and protecting her while she is cooking, cleaning, and raising kids. But even then, why would you call her property? You don't call the woman that's seasoning your food property. That makes you a real sucker there. And Brother Samuel says, I just love an intelligent, beautiful, conscious Black woman that knows how to treat her man. Absolutely. We out there. We out there. Brad, how you doing? Says Trump 2024. Let's go Trump. Yeah. It looks like that's the way it's going. A lot of people, want Trump to be back in office. I mean, how do you explain him going to Iowa and running circles? He ran circles around, the other candidates. And they said again, if the election was held today, that he would beat Biden. And it's not going to help the Democrats. And a lot of Black people are going over to Trump. But it is going to help Trump that a lot of Black people want to vote for Trump. So that's why when Kamala says, I'm scared, that's what she really means. That you Negroes are not on board no more. And I don't know what to do about it. So I'm scared. Right. So anyway, we going to get out of here. I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I'm going to rest my voice for a couple of days and I'll be back here on Sunday with Donovan. I don't know what we'll talk about. Who knows, right? But in the meantime, y'all stay tuned. Y'all stay safe. And if you are somewhere where it's freezing, like it here is in Houston, please stay warm. At least tonight, we don't have to turn the water off and bleed the pipes. See, that's when I'm outside in the cold. And, I'm opening all the faucets in the house and stuff. And I got to go out there and turn off the main faucet. That's when I think about, damn. Sure, it would be nice to see a man bending over, turning off the spigot. I'm like, good job, honey. Come on in. It's cold outside. That's what I'll be thinking about. So anyway, y'all stay warm. Hey, Kimberly, how you doing? Who else came on here? El Boogie, where you been? Where have you been? Oh my God. I'm glad to see you here. Let's see here. Brother Samuel says a husband, man. Bible is a person that takes care of the vineyard he don't own. Come on, tell him. Tell him. Dwayne, how you doing? Facts Not Feelings says Black people that migrant in that say no more money for us. And we are lazy. He is from a culture of anti-Blacks that participate in death squad massacres back in their country. You have been warned. Oh my God. Well, thanks for the warning. But anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. See y'all on Sunday. Peace.